Happy Laboratory Tuesday. I will give people a minute to jump on if they want. Excuse the strange angle today. I want to be able to hold up things for our video. So this week I wanted to kind of bring us back to food because we've had some really heavy, deep conversation over the past couple weeks. And before we begin, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody that reached out to me with their kindness after last week's video. If you didn't see it, I broke down and started crying, and it just meant a lot that so many people reached out and said, hey, because of what you said, I was encouraged to use my voice today, and that's the whole point, right? Also, I think a former version of me wouldn't have ever let myself feel those emotions, and I think this former version was probably only a couple months ago. I think we can have a tendency, especially in like the spiritual health, self-help universe, to be like, nope, good vibes only, and kind of cut things off before we actually fully feel them. And last Tuesday, I was reading about the current administration's views on the Dreamers Act, and I felt really freaking sad about it. And instead of refusing to feel those feelings and say, no, good vibes only, and changing the subject and not doing my Laboratory Tuesday, I decided to just fully stand in my humanness and be like, no, I'm gonna get through this. And yes, everything is energy, so it's so important for us to have integrity with our vibes and really take care of ourselves in that way. But also, energy doesn't go anywhere, right? We learn that from science. Energy does not go anywhere. So when we stifle our emotions, it's kind of like we're stuffing them down, and then they're gonna start to show up in other ways later. So yes, have integrity with the things that you ingest, but also be a real human on this planet. And there is stuff happening around us that really hurts, and it's important to not indulge in it just for the sake of tearing yourself apart, but to be an active participant, because we were gifted these really awesome body machines to go out and do some really good shit in the world. But we have to actually know what the world needs of us, right? So just a few words on that. And if you didn't watch last week, I encourage you to do so, because it's one of my favorite messages to just be your own guru. And yes, it's wonderful to have a mentor and somebody to look up to, but it's so important for you to also find your internal voice and really know how important it is. Another note is, I think we'll do one more Laboratory Tuesday on my personal page, but then I'm gonna move everything over to my free Facebook group, Healthy, Happy Party People, just so I'm not ambushing my personal stuff all the time with work stuff, although they're very much the same. But I do invite you to go over to the free Facebook group. I'll post a link at the end of this video, and you can join. And over there, we will be talking nutrition, movement, positive psychology, and humor, all of my favorite things that really contribute to a beautiful life for me. And so I hope that I can overflow and we can join in that together. There is a free training over there posted called How to Use Food to Access Your Magic. It is part 1 of the free training, and then next Friday we're going to do part 2. So if you haven't checked that out, it's, I think, 20 minutes. It's super easy, but hopefully it will help you build this beautiful foundation, so when we chat next Friday for part 2 and we get to start talking about the really juicy things like energy and manifestation, you will be wide open to access all of that. And yeah, I think that's it. So this video, 5 ways to not hate your kitchen, or I can't remember what I titled it, or something like that. I am doing a lot of cooking these days as I compile recipes for a class that I'm launching in October. And I have to say that it's getting a little bit old cooking for that. Also cooking for, hi Katie! Also cooking for Patrick and myself. I can't imagine having a family and needing to also feed so many other little bellies. And I think it's really easy to start just despising that whole area of your kitchen. And so today, when I was trying to reframe how I can get excited about cooking all day today, I actually went through these things that I'm going to talk to you about. So number 1 is rely on your tools. And I get really excited to have new tools in my kitchen, and I want to show you just some that really make my life easier in the kitchen and really facilitate the possibility of me eating healthy food all the time. So this is my best friend. It's an Instant Pot, and if you are one of my friends, I probably texted you about the Instant Pot, or if you're a family member, I probably purchased an Instant Pot for you. It looks pretty intimidating. This was actually gifted to Patrick and myself because Patrick's dad ordered it and claimed he didn't know how to use it. But I promise it is so easy. And if you notice here, there are so many amazing functions. You can make chili, soup, you can make rice, yogurt. I'm gonna be exploring the yogurt function later this afternoon. And what's so special about this is it's kind of like a slow cooker, but really expedited. So say you know you need to roast chicken for dinner, right? But you don't think of it till 3 p.m. Your chicken is not gonna be defrosted by the time you wanna roast it for dinner, and that's really annoying. What you can do is in the Instant Pot, you can put frozen meat right in the Instant Pot, put all your ingredients in, and it can be as simple as like 5 chicken breasts and a can of tomato sauce, right? You put it on for 25 minutes. By the end, you not only have cooked meat, but you have a whole meal, and we'll shred the chicken and then we'll add some veggies to it and whatever else. One of my favorite meals to make in the Instant Pot is with or without chicken. We don't eat that much meat, but I will put all of my ingredients inside for a curry. So I'll put all of the uncooked vegetables like carrots, which take a long time to roast, right? They're really thick, and cauliflower, same thing, and a can of coconut milk, my curry powder, salt and pepper, chickpeas. I'll put them all in there and just shut it for 20 minutes, and by the end I have a full curry stew. It's really amazing, especially once you start getting tricky with it. Definitely recommended. You can purchase this on Amazon. I think they have the smaller quart ones, the 4-quart ones, for like $60. I think this one was $80, but even better, you can find them on eBay used, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. I'm sure you can find one. Definitely recommended. My next best friend is my blender. And this is just the jar because the base is heavy, but I have a Blendtec, and I bought this refurbished off of the website, meaning this had a previous owner. For some reason they didn't like it and they sent it back, and that meant that I got a discount on it, which has been lovely. I think I've had this almost for 5 years now, and anytime the blade gets dull, I can just send it back to Blendtec and they will allow me to get a new blade, and it's like I have a whole new blender. This baby can make soups, ice cream. It makes all of my smoothies, all of my concoctions. And I have another jar that came with it where I can make nut butters, I can make coconut butter. This is how I grind down all of my coffee grounds for a coffee machine, all of that good stuff. So highly recommend getting a great blender. The beauty of the evolution of blenders is now you don't necessarily have to invest in a really crazy blender like a Blendtec, but you can get a NutriBullet, which is at Target and at Walmart and on Amazon. And again, I think that they're about $100, but I'm sure you could find one on Craigslist or on eBay or on Facebook Marketplace, and they're actually really stinking awesome. So highly suggested. Great way for you to get your greens in every day. You hide your kale, your spinach inside of your smoothie, inside of your fruit smoothie, and you don't even know that you are eating your greens. What could be better than that? Another fun tool that I have is this guy. It is called a tumbling box shredder. And a couple weeks ago, I wanted to make a Brussels sprout salad. But when I was chopping my Brussels sprouts, I couldn't get them thin enough. I want them shaved. So I looked online to find a mandolin, and instead I found this baby. And you just put whatever you want to shave in here, and then you turn the lever and it comes out shaved on the other side. And it also comes with 2 other settings, so you can spiralize and shred in medium or small ways. Awesome for super simple quickie salads, or to just chop your veggies super fast. And then the last thing that I forgot to say is not only do I have my Instant Pot that you can make rice in it, but I get really reliant on my tools, and we also have a rice cooker too. So many times I will be making my curry in my Instant Pot and then also have quinoa or rice also being made in my rice cooker. And really the setup is about 10 minutes, and then I just get to leave these guys over in the corner for 30 minutes, and then we have a full, beautiful meal. So definitely also recommend a rice cooker, which I'm sure you can probably do a lot of the same things as the Instant Pot in terms of grains and yogurt, but the Instant Pot is far superior if you're going to invest in one thing. Okay, away from the tools, I also have about 50 other tools that cost about $3, like my favorite whisk and my veggie peeler and my favorite knife, all of which are important too, but just wanted to kind of introduce you to some of the more strange ones. So next on the list is to know what is in your refrigerator. So for instance, today I opened the fridge. I needed to pack Patrick a lunch and a dinner. He is in law school, and so I'm essentially sending him off with food for 12 hours. And I look and just see a random mishmash of things, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to go to the grocery store. Instead of going to the grocery store, I took the inventory of my fridge and figured out that I had ingredients for probably 5 meals that we like to eat. But because they were all scattered randomly in the fridge, I didn't notice that. And normally I have a little post-it on the fridge that says what's left in the refrigerator. And so it will say like cauliflower or greens, basically just so my attention is on what's left in the fridge and nothing goes to waste. So if it's still on the fridge and hasn't been ticked off, it means it still exists in the fridge and I need to use it this week before it goes bad. You'll see I have just literally a piece of paper taped to my fridge, and that says what's in the fridge right now. And it's just a super easy tool to remind you of what still exists in the fridge so nothing's rotting and going to waste. Number 3 is I keep an inspiration list. So when I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see these yummy recipes, most of the time we just look at it and we go, oh cool, maybe one day I'll make that, and then we forget about it, right? I like to take a screenshot of it and then I save it in a special little folder on my phone. So when I'm getting ready to go to the grocery store, I just peruse through it and see if anything still interests me, and then I'll pull up the ingredients and add them to my grocery list, and it just gets me a little bit excited to try a new recipe for the week. So keep an inspiration list because it's all about being fun and inspired, right? Number 4, I make my kitchen my bitch. I make it the most fun place to be. So if that means that I'm gonna put on some awesome music and dance around, or I'm gonna play a podcast that I've been waiting to listen to, or if I'm gonna play a podcast that I normally wouldn't allow myself to listen to at home in the middle of the day, kind of like one of those indulgent ones that aren't really contributing to work and I probably shouldn't waste my time listening to in the middle of the day, but are really entertaining. I give myself permission to listen to all of those while I'm cooking. And it just makes the experience so much more exciting, and I look forward to it. So how can you get excited about being in the kitchen, whether that means that your favorite sports team is playing, or you're listening also to a podcast, or your favorite TV show is kind of in the background? Don't cut off your fingers. Pay attention to what you're doing, but also how can you make it really fun? And then the last piece of advice, and I need to take advantage of this all the time, is if you are in the flow, if you're actually enjoying being in the kitchen, take advantage and make extra food, because you can always save it and it serves as food prep for the rest of the week. So usually when I speak about food prep, people are like, ugh, I don't want to like mark out an extra space in the week that I have to be slaving in the kitchen for 3 hours. Well, if you take advantage of the times when you're actually in the flow and you make extra, you can store it in the fridge, store it in a glass jar or a glass container, and then you can access those later. And for veggies to store best, it's better if you undercook them slightly, right? We don't want to cook the crap out of our vegetables anyway because heat destroys nutrients, but if you leave a slight crisp, they will stay in the refrigerator longer. Just make sure that you use an airtight container. I use airtight jars. And you can make sure that they're fully cooled. I saw that some people actually dip them in an ice bath, so they are fully cooled, and then the condensation won't encourage them to rot faster in the fridge. So those are my tips for this week, and I wish you lots of yummy eats. And if you have some other tips, then please let me know. I will be sending out all of these links in my newsletter later today to see all of the specific things that I talked about. So if you are not on the newsletter, come on over. And again, if you are not in the Healthy Happy Party People group, come join the party, because all of the Laboratory Tuesdays are going to live over there, so I can stop posting them on my personal page. If you have anything that you would like me to discuss on Laboratory Tuesday, please leave it in the comments or send me an email at tory@torydube.com. And I love you, and I'm wishing you a wonderful Tuesday, and we'll chat next week.